Alright, switching gears completely from all the nature and whatnot, wanted to share the day that I spent in Washington, D.C., and also the day that I spent in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I will start with my visit to D.C. Now, we made reservations for parking ahead of time, which, in my opinion, saved us a lot of time and effort, and probably some money too, because it wasn't so expensive online as sometimes when you drive up into a city, you pull into the first parking garage you find. It ends up being like $1 billion to park for like 2 hours. So making the reservation was a good call, and I did that in most of the cities, and now it's kind of my go-to whenever I go to a city. But anyway, first we checked out the memorials. You could see on the map here, this is a map of the National Mall area. And then we headed over and checked out the museums. So I'll start just from the beginning of the day. Our first stop was the White House. We didn't really do anything besides look at it, but I mean, it was pretty cool on the outside. You can arrange to take a tour, I believe, but we didn't do that. Then we saw a whole bunch of memorials. This one's the World War II Memorial. There are just so many of them that it's hard to keep track and make sure that you even go to all of them, but I think we managed to see all of the major ones. The memorials were pretty thought-provoking. The ones that were made in honor of certain individuals really showed the importance of each of them, such as Martin Luther King Jr. or Abe Lincoln, Jefferson, among some others. There are also war memorials. These ones are kind of sad, as they have many names of lost people or veterans of these wars. I was thinking about what it would be like to be a kid going through all of these memorials, and I feel like if I were a kid, I would be kind of lost as to what all of them mean, or the meaning behind all of these important people and wars. So I looked online to see if there were any materials that maybe a parent could bring with them while they visit these memorials for their kid, to kind of, not all of the meaning be lost behind all of these. And I didn't find all that much, which kind of disappointed me. There are a few books that you can buy, but as far as something just easily accessible on your phone, or just easy to print out to take with, there wasn't that much, which kind of made me sad, because I don't think that these important features should be overlooked even by like the little kids. Anyway, the craftsmanship and the architecture of these structures is outstanding, very interesting to see. We saw the Washington Monument as well, which you could see from pretty much everywhere in that area. And then we kind of moved on to the museum areas. The first museum that we visited, as well as my favorite museum, was the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum. Here you could see models of all sorts of old military planes and space travel equipment, such as satellites, the Mars rover, and other things. There's also some moon rocks, which is pretty cool. It's really cool to see how big these life-size models are of some of the space equipment that they use. This museum is really cool to visit for technology, science, and engineering fans. At some point, we started heading towards the U.S. Capitol building, but it was under construction, so we didn't make a giant effort to go any closer to it, really. Next, we went to the National Gallery of Art, which for me was cool, but I mean, I'm not real huge into old art, I guess. But even if you're not, this place is really beautiful on the inside, and they have an old Da Vinci painting. So, at the least, you can go in and go check out some history, or you could go in and make fun of some of the really weird old paintings. I don't know. It was a worth it stop to me anyway. After that, we went to the National Museum of Natural History, which had all kinds of different neat stuff, lots of skeletons of things, models of things. My favorite part was this sweet mummy. I don't know. I just really thought that that one was interesting. Last, we went to the Museum of American History, and by then I was really tired. We had walked miles and miles that day, and I'm also not super into American history, so I didn't take a lot of pictures. We didn't spend a lot of time there, but there was a lot of different things to see regarding American culture and the history of America. And there was this statue there of George Washington, and that was pretty much the last thing that we did in DC. So we went to Philadelphia like a week after we were in DC, and we mostly went to go to Independence National Historic Park there, which has the Liberty Bell that we saw. It has original copies of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and the Articles of Confederation, which are shown here. You're not allowed to use flash on them, so I tried to brighten up the articles and the Constitution, but the Declaration of Independence, I accidentally used flash before the guy in there said that you couldn't use it. So I have that picture there. But that's all, Independence Hall, those documents. Independence Hall was where both the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were debated and signed. So that's a super important part of American history there. And then we took a stroll over to Edgar Allan Poe's house. He only lived there for a little while, but it was still kind of neat to see just where he hung out and where he did some writing. The last thing we did in Philly was go to Penn's Landing, and this wasn't really something that we planned for ahead of time. We just kind of went down there, saw some ships and stuff, walked on the boardwalk, and my favorite part of it was that we got a Philly cheesesteak. That about sums it up for DC and Philly. So, as always, feel free to subscribe, comment below, check out my blog at treesandtravels.blogspot.com, and thanks for watching.